Hey guys, Josh from SoccerReviewsForYou.com, bringing you my review plus on-feet video of the brand new Nike Women's Tiempo Legend 5 in the Women's World Cup colorway. Now inside the box they do include a string bag to go along with the shoes themselves. The string bag is Volt Yellow in color with black strings. You're going to find a black Nike swoosh on one side and your black Nike football branding on the other. Other than that, all you're going to find inside the box, as you guys can see, are the shoes themselves. So we'll get these guys out of the box really quickly and we'll take a closer look at the Women's World Cup colorway of the Nike Tiempo Legend 5. Now because this is a women's colorway, it's also women's sizing, which is something I'm going to be explaining in today's video, because while it's technically a women's shoe, that doesn't mean that if you're a guy, you can't wear these if you like this particular colorway. So again, if you want to learn more about the fit and sizing of the women's version of the Tiempo Legend 5, as well as all the tech specs regarding the Legend 5 in general, please stick around and watch the entire video. We're going to go over all of that in detail. If you guys are interested in a pair of these for yourself, check out the review page on my website. That'll be the very first link down below in the description of this video. On that page, you will find Buy It Now links with exclusive SR4U coupon codes where you will be able to pick these up below their normal $200 retail price. So again, if you're interested in a pair, first link down below in the description, go ahead and check it out. And with that being said, let's get right into the review. To start things off, let's talk about how these things fit and how you can go about wearing these if you're a guy and you normally wear men's sizes, because while this is technically a women's shoe with women's sizing, the actual construction and overall fit of the shoe is no different than the men's version at all. The only difference here is the color and the way the sizing system works. So the way you go from men's to women's sizing is 1.5 sizes up. That's the difference. So normally in a Legend 5, I would wear a men's size 9.5 US, whereas in this shoe, I'm wearing a women's size 11 US, and the fit is exactly the same. All you have to do is go 1.5 sizes up from your normal men's size. Now the thing to keep in mind with this Women's World Cup release from Nike is the biggest size they make them in is the one I'm wearing, an 11 US women's, which like I said is the equivalent of a men's 9.5 US. So if you wear a 9.5 US men's or anything smaller, you will be able to get these, but if you wear anything bigger than a 9.5 US men's, they don't make them that big, unfortunately. So that is something to keep in mind if you were planning on picking up not just these or any of the Women's World Cup stuff. So once you get the right size, going 1.5 sizes up, like I said, the fit is the same, and I'm just a big fan of the overall fit and feel of the Legend 5 in general. They're comfortable, the kangaroo leather upper is soft, they feel great on your feet, and after some break-in time, the leather stretches even more, forms the exact shape of your foot, and even becomes that much softer, and just makes for, like I said, a very, very comfortable fit and feel on feet. As far as the width of the shoe is concerned, because it is leather and because it does have the ability to stretch, they're going to be suitable for just about everybody, even if you do have wider feet. This is definitely the widest option from Nike as far as their high-end models go, aside from maybe the Nike Premier, another kangaroo leather soccer shoe that, like I said, does offer a more generous fit in terms of width. And again, like I explained with the sizing, if you're going from men's to women's sizing, all you have to do is add 1.5 sizes to achieve the proper fit. As far as the laces go, on my left foot I have the stock Volt Yellow laces that come with the shoes, and on my right foot I have a pair of black reflective wide SR4U replacement laces. If you're interested in a pair of replacement laces for yourself, check out the website www.sr4ulaces.com. You find a direct link to that website down below in the description of this video. As far as the colorway is concerned, this is a very unique looking Legend 5, mainly due to this kind of metallic, very shiny blue color they have across the majority of the upper. Now this color is what they call Blue Lagoon. It's a common color that we see used across the entire Women's World Cup line. And it's unusual that it's so shiny because this is still a kangaroo leather upper. It still has the same softness to it. And the only minor difference you're going to find that may have a slight impact on performance is the finish on the surface because of this kind of shinier thing they have going on. It's a little bit more smooth than you perhaps would expect it to be, but for the most part, it's a very interesting look. I'm personally not crazy about this particular color of blue, but if you want something that's very unique, especially in the form of a Tiempo Legend 5, you can't go wrong with this colorway. Just to give you guys an idea of what this blue actually looks like, this is the Highlight Pack Legend 5, which features a matte finish, and it's more of a traditional royal blue, whereas this Women's World Cup color, like you guys can see, is a lot more shiny and just a slightly different shade of blue altogether. The rest of the shoe, as you guys can see, see is pretty much Volt yellow in color, aside from the Nike swoosh on both the lateral and medial side. That's white with a black outline. You have Volt yellow in the tongue, the laces, the liner, the insole, the heel, black Tiempo branding going down the back, and then the entire outsole is solid Volt yellow as well, with the tips of the studs being clear. So that's pretty much it as far as the colorway is concerned. Let me know your thoughts on it down below in the comment section. Do you like how these look? Why or why not? And with that being said, let's move on to the tech specs so we can learn a little bit more about the overall performance. As far as performance is concerned, I'm a huge fan of the Legend 5. People who have been following my channel for the last little while know that about 6 or 7 months ago now, I made a video saying that the Legend 5 was my personal favorite shoe, and that is still the case. I actually often get that question, especially as of late, asking me if the Legend 5 is still my favorite. The answer to that question is yes. I'm still a really, really big fan of this shoe, and the main reason why is it's such a comfortable, simple shoe. When I put this on my feet, especially a well-broken in pair, everything feels right. There's nothing gimmicky about the shoe. It's soft, it's comfortable. I really like the premium feel that you get from kangaroo leather. That is my personal preference. Plus, I just like the stud pattern and just the very flexible sensation that you get when wearing this shoe. It just feels natural. I don't have to get used to anything. Now, what we're going to do is go over all the tech specs, because this is a pretty straightforward shoe. There's not a ton going on here as far as technological advancement is concerned, but it is a very interesting kangaroo leather shoe in terms of its lining material. Now, the upper is made from kangaroo leather, as you would expect, very soft, very comfortable, and it's got a good thickness to it as well. So it's not overly thin, it's not overly padded, but you get that nice soft kind of plush sensation in terms of how it feels on your foot, as well as when you're making contact with the ball, which is really, really nice and just very satisfying. It feels like a premium shoe on your feet. And if you're looking for that classic leather feel, you're going to get that from the Legend 5. The upper is also finished off with ACC all conditions control, acting as your wet control element, and overall, grip on the ball in wet weather playing conditions is actually very, very good. The laces run through the middle, as you guys can see. It's got a standard cut in the heel, an internal plastic heel counter. The heel liner is smooth synthetic leather on the sides and then perforated synthetic leather at the very back. Decent amount of padding, so again, step-in comfort is not an issue here whatsoever. And then on the inside of the shoe, the lining material, that's what they call their Hyper Shield liner. And what makes the Legend 5 different from pretty much any other leather shoe out there is that the lining is a single layer of mesh as opposed to being layers of material. So because of this Hyper Shield liner that you guys can see right there, it's the only material backing the leather itself. So it allows for less bulk. It allows the shoe to be a little bit lighter because you have less materials on the underside of the material. It makes it more flexible. It doesn't restrict the softness and flexibility of the leather material itself. It doesn't lock in moisture, so it means that the shoe is going to dry a lot more quickly. And it just feels more natural in general. It's less material between your foot and the ball, which is kind of what you're going for from a pair of soccer shoes. So really big fan of this Hyper Shield liner. It does have its benefits, and while it doesn't provide a super dramatic difference when it comes to feel on the ball in comparison to, say, something like a Copa Mundial with its traditional kangaroo leather upper and traditional liner, it still feels very good, and it's probably the most modern, traditionally styled shoe out there on the market right now. The insole is fully removable. I'll give you guys a quick look at that. Perforations on top, mesh liner as well, and then you can see it's just made from a single layer of this yellow foam with these soft pour-on foam inserts in the heel as well as in the forefoot and kind of big toe area. Really good step-in comfort. Definitely one of the more significant insoles you're going to find from Nike in any of their top-end models. And then moving on to the sole plate, it's a standard TPU construction, relatively thin. There is a flex line running through the bottom in the forefoot here. That's very minimal. I'm not sure it has much of an impact on flexibility at all, but it's there nonetheless. You're going to find that running in this shoe, it's not stiff at all, and it has a just nice natural sensation in terms of how flexible it actually is. And then, of course, you have the Tiempo stud pattern, which I'm personally a really big fan of. You have the 4 bladed studs in the heel, the 8 conical studs on the sides of the forefoot, 2 support studs in the middle that are bladed in shape, and then 1 toe pick stud right at the very end. And overall, it's just a great traction pattern on firm natural grass playing surfaces. It's aggressive despite all the studs being conical in shape. You can still see that they have a fairly long length to them, and they have a fairly narrow profile as well. So while they are rounded in shape, they dig into the ground really nicely, and you still get nice bite when pushing off in pretty much any direction. And again, due to their conical shape, you can still twist and pivot really easily easily. So again, it just feels very natural and just easy to use in general. So overall, big fan of the Legend 5. There's not much about this shoe that I don't actually like. Again, if I had any complaint, I think it would be that the tongue isn't leather like the rest of the shoe. It's a thinner synthetic material with memory foam down the middle. And even then, it's really not a big issue in the grand scheme of things when you're actually wearing this shoe. So that's pretty much it as far as performance tech specs go. Next, we'll move on to a quick weigh-in so we can see how lightweight these guys are. In terms of weight, I thought we'd compare the women's version of the Legend 5 to the men's version of the Legend 5. Now keep in mind, these are both in brand new condition. The men's version is a size 9.5 US, whereas the women's version is an 11 US. This is men's sizing, this is women's sizing. Technically, they're not the same size, but in reality, when you do the conversion, they're exactly the same size. So we're gonna see if there's any difference on this scale right now. We're gonna start off with the men's version, throw it on the scale, and you can see that they weigh in at 8.3 ounces, the equivalent of 236 grams. Change the scale back to ounces, pull these off, and throw on the women's version, and you can see that they weigh in at 8.3 ounces, 236 grams, the exact same weight. So again, this is a women's shoe, this is a men's shoe. They're technically different sizes, but they're the exact same size, if that makes any sense. And like I mentioned earlier in the video, the construction is exactly the same as well. They haven't changed anything despite this being a women's shoe. So again, if you're looking for a leather shoe that's very, very comfortable, feels nice and solid on your feet, but at the same time isn't heavy at 8.3 ounces, there isn't a lot to complain about here. That's below average for a full kangaroo leather soccer shoe. Again, you absolutely cannot go wrong with the Tiempo Legend 5. Alright guys, that's it for my review of the Women's World Cup Nike Tiempo Legend 5. Again, if you guys are interested in a pair of these for yourself, check out the review page on my website. That'll be the very first link down below in the description of this video. On that page, you will find Buy It Now links with exclusive SR4U coupon codes where you will be able to pick these guys up below their normal $200 retail price. So again, if you're interested in a pair, first link down below in the description, go ahead and check it out. If you have any questions at all regarding this shoe, leave them down below in the comment section, and I definitely will get an answer out to you. If you enjoyed today's video, found it helpful and informative, be sure to support it with a like. Subscribe if you haven't already for daily videos on all the latest and greatest soccer gear. You can find all my social media information down below in the description as well. And other than that, guys, hope you enjoyed today's video, and as always, thanks for watching.